I just want to go home.
What happened all of a sudden? I got a call from my daughter, who was supposed to be on a school trip. It would have been fine if it was just a regular call, but the situation was different.
Why is this happening to me? Mom, you tricked me too, didn't you?
What? I couldn't understand what my daughter was talking about. Even over the phone, I could tell she was sobbing uncontrollably. Just calm down. I'll listen to you.
Okay.
I knew something serious was going on, so I tried desperately to calm her down. For a while, I waited without pushing her to explain why she was crying. Eventually, she started to open up a bit.
Mom, there should be a backpack in my room. Can you check it for me?
A backpack? Hang on a sec. Just like she said, I found her backpack carelessly left in her room and checked inside. Thinking she might have forgotten something, I opened it up, and I couldn't help but gasp. What the heck is this? Inside was something absolutely shocking. I immediately asked her, "Did you know about this?"
Yeah, I got a call earlier. He said, "You're not even my real daughter."
He really said that?
Yeah, that's why I thought you were deceiving me too, Mom.
Whoever said that really stirred up trouble. You are my daughter. That's the truth.
Really?
Yes, really. You're the child I gave birth to. I carefully explained everything to her until she understood. And then, my anger started to boil inside me. How dare someone do this to us? I immediately contacted my mother-in-law. And so, my plan for revenge began. My name is Catherine, and I live with my middle school daughter, Sarah, and my husband, Mike. Mike and I were both remarried. I first met Mike when he came to my company as a representative from a business partner. At that time, I had just gone through my divorce and wasn't in a great mental state.
Well, are you okay?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm fine.
Really? You didn't look too well.
I'm really okay. With that, I hurried off to the bathroom. It wasn't that I disliked Mike, but I felt like he had seen right through me. After that, every time he came to the office, he would say something to me.
Hey, if you don't mind, I brought this for you.
Oh, thank you. Oh no, I should give you something in return.
No, it's okay. I'm doing it because I want to.
At the time, I didn't understand why he was being so attentive to me. I would find out later. Apparently, he heard through others that I was divorced. At first, I thought it was just sympathy.
Would you like to grab dinner sometime?
With me,
Yes.
I couldn't figure out why. He had no reason to choose someone like me, a single mom with a young daughter. Still, Mike continued to approach me. Of course, it made me happy, but there was one thing I needed to clarify. I should tell you up front, I have a 1-year-old daughter, so I'm sure I'd be a burden to you. Just as I was about to say that,
I don't care about that. I'm confident I can love you and your daughter no matter what.
what? I was completely caught off guard by his sudden confession. At that point, we had only gone out for dinner a few times. We weren't even dating yet. It was during a moment like that when he said those words. I was surprised, but more than anything, I felt happiness from such an honest declaration, something I hadn't heard in a long time. Not long after that, we started dating.
Sarah, nice to meet you.
Sarah looks pretty happy too.
I sure hope so.
A year after we started dating, we decided to get married. My parents were against it, but I managed to convince them. The only one who supported us was my mother-in-law. We made a promise when we got married.
I'm looking forward to working with you as husband and wife.
Me too. I truly believed we could leave the past behind and live a happy life. But gradually, things began to change. Sarah was growing up fast, and she was starting to speak little by little. The first word she said was "mama." Of course, I was thrilled, but Mike had a different reaction.
She said mama right away. But why won't she say dad?
Don't worry about it too much.
Do you think so? Maybe because I'm not her real dad.
Before Mike could finish, I stopped him. We agreed not to talk about that.
Oh, right. Sorry, I'll be more careful.
When we got remarried, we made a rule not to tell Sarah until she was an adult. It was the fact that we were remarried and that Mike wasn't Sarah's biological father. We had told my parents and his mom as well. His mom, in particular, agreed with that.
I think that's for the best.
I think so too.
You know, I was remarried too. In our case, Mike was my husband's stepson.
What? I didn't know that.
Yes, Mike didn't think it was necessary to mention it either, but I thought it would be better to tell you.
It made sense why Mike didn't have any negative feelings about getting remarried with me. It was because of his own experience. I'd always kept in touch with my mother-in-law, so I thought our relationship was pretty good. Sarah even called her Nana and adored her.
Catherine, have you ever thought about becoming a full-time stay-at-home mom?
That's a pretty sudden question. Is there a reason for asking? Mike started bringing it up after Sarah began going to preschool.
Well, I just thought maybe Sarah would be happier that way.
Yeah, that might be true.
Would that be okay?
Well, but when I think about our future, I feel like it's better for me to keep working.
Yeah, you're probably right.
In the end, I never became a full-time housewife. I think it was around this time I started to feel like Mike didn't enjoy being alone with Sarah. Because of my shifts, I sometimes had to work on weekends. That meant the two of them would have to spend time together. Hey, where's Sarah?
Oh, I think she's in her room.
Okay. One Saturday, I came home from work and found Sarah playing alone in her room. Curious, I asked her, "Why aren't you playing with Daddy?"
I asked him to, but he didn't seem to want to.
Really? I'm sure Daddy wants to play with you. I said it instinctively, but when I thought about it, I realized there might be some truth to what she said. While I was wondering how to talk to Mike about it, the relationship between the two of them started to deteriorate. As Sarah grew older and started learning new things after entering elementary school, Mike's attitude toward her became stricter. As a wife and mother, I felt like I couldn't let things continue like this. Lately, haven't you been kind of cold towards Sarah?
No way. If anything, she's the one being cold toward me.
Do you really think so?
Wait, you don't believe me?
It's not that. I've just been noticing how you two interact lately. Mike let out a big sigh and looked exasperated.
I'm doing my best here, you know. If you have any complaints, talk to Sarah about it.
I can't do that. She's just a kid.
Well, if that's the case, I'm going to keep treating her the same way I always have.
We're not done talking. But Mike left the house without hearing me out. He didn't come back until the next morning. Where did you go?
It doesn't matter. Just leave me alone.
I didn't press him any further. That might have been my mistake. By the time Sarah was in 6th grade, she had started thinking about things more deeply. One day, she came up to me with a question.
Mom, does Dad hate me?
Why do you think that?
But he doesn't even talk to me, right?
I hesitated, unsure how to respond. If I gave a half-hearted answer now, it could make things even worse between Mike and Sarah. Your dad's just a bit overwhelmed by how fast you're growing up, but he doesn't dislike you, so don't worry about that.
Do you really think so? Okay, I understand.
For now, I managed to calm the situation, but nothing had really been resolved. I decided I'd talk to Mike when Sarah was out playing with her friends. Hey, I need to talk to you.
Talk? About what?
Sarah asked me the other day how you feel about her.
This again? Can we just drop it?
Drop it?
I'm tired of this. It's because she's not my real daughter. If only I had a kid of my own blood.
Those words made me snap. Is blood connection really that important to you? Then why did you marry me?
I thought I could handle it back then. But now it's nothing like I imagined.
Even now, there's still time to fix it.
It's too late. I'll do the bare minimum as a father, but don't expect anything more from me.
Are you serious? How can you say that? Mike, clearly unable to contain his frustration, raised his voice.
Yeah, I'm serious. I'm done with this conversation, and I don't want to talk about it again.
That's just running away.
Running away? I've put up with enough. You have no right to say that to me.
Mike suddenly stood up and kicked the couch he had been sitting on. My heart raced and I froze in fear. Then he turned and glared at me. For a second, I thought he might hit me.
If you bring this up again, you know what will happen. Don't ever talk about this again, and I mean it.
It was a clear threat. As awful as it sounds, I almost didn't care if he hit me. But the thought of him turning that anger on Sarah terrified me. All right, I won't bring it up again. Of course, I didn't mean it in my heart. From that point on, not only did our relationship as parents deteriorate, but so did our marriage. When Sarah came home from school, she handed me a paper. Oh, it's that time of year already.
What? Did you forget?
Of course not. So, where are you going again?
To New Orleans.
New Orleans? That sounds great. She must have been really excited about the school trip. Even after that, we kept talking excitedly about souvenirs and places she would visit. Then, Mike came home from work and chimed in.
What are you two talking about that sounds so fun?
Sarah and I fell silent. Mike hadn't started conversations like this in a long time, so we were caught off guard.
Why did you go quiet?
It's not that really.
So, what's going on?
Sarah is going on her school trip soon.
Oh, a school trip. I see.
Even though he had asked, his response was distant and uninterested. That was the end of the conversation. Mike sat on the couch and started playing with his phone. Sarah and I realized we couldn't keep the conversation going, so we moved to another room.
Didn't that feel a bit scary?
Yeah, he didn't seem interested either. Sarah sighed.
I feel like he could have said it differently.
By the time Sarah was in her 3rd year of middle school, she was well aware of how Mike acted toward her. She didn't try to get too involved with him either. There was only a month left until her school trip.
I'll be home late tonight.
Really? What about dinner?
I don't need any.
From that day on, Mike started coming home late almost every night. Whenever I asked why, he would just say it was work and never offer any details. On top of that, he'd look at me and smirk. Did something happen that makes you so happy?
It's nothing I need to talk about.
He was still as cold as ever. I tried to improve our relationship, but nothing worked. It was around this time that I started seriously considering divorce. I decided to talk to my mother-in-law, who was in a similar situation.
That's definitely unacceptable.
So, I've been thinking about our divorce, but I'm worried about Sarah.
It is a tough time for her. Has she said anything?
I haven't directly asked, but from what I've seen, their relationship isn't good.
That must be hard. Just remember this. I'm not going to take Mike's side.
That's a relief to hear.
Even if Mike says something out of line, you do whatever you think is best, Catherine.
Talking to my mother-in-law gave me some much-needed confidence. With her support, I felt more assured. The day before Sarah's school trip arrived.
Sarah's school trip starts tomorrow, right?
Yeah, it does.
What time is she leaving tomorrow?
I think it's the usual time. I found it odd that he was asking so many questions. Is there something bothering you?
Well, she is my daughter after all.
Right. I felt a bit uneasy, but it didn't seem like a big deal, so I didn't think much of it. The next morning, Mike was up before anyone else. It's unusual for you to be up this early.
Everyone has days like that sometimes.
He seemed to be in a good mood. Other than that, it felt like a normal morning. Sarah left for her school trip with a big smile on her face. As I was getting ready to leave for work after seeing her off, Mike was still at home. Aren't you heading to work? Even though it was the usual time to leave, Mike hadn't gone yet.
I just have a few things to finish up. You can go ahead.
All right, don't forget the key.
Got it.
He seemed restless, so I assumed he was looking for something. Later, I would find out what he had been preparing.
I just want to go home.
What? What happened all of a sudden? I had assumed Sarah was having fun with her friends. But that night, I got a call from her. She was supposed to be on her school trip. If it had been a normal call, that would have been fine. But this was different.
Why is this happening to me? Mom, you lied to me too, didn't you?
What are you talking about? I had no idea what Sarah was saying. Even over the phone, I could tell she was crying hysterically. Just calm down. I'll listen to you.
Okay.
I knew something serious had happened, so I tried my hardest to keep her calm. I waited without pushing her to explain why she was crying. Eventually, she started to talk.
Mom, there should be a backpack in my room. Can you check it for me?
A backpack? Hang on a sec. I went to her room and found the backpack just as she had described. Thinking she had forgotten something, I opened it, and I immediately gasped. What the heck is this? Inside were scattered photos of my ex-husband and baby pictures of Sarah from when she was born. That's when it hit me. This was what Mike had been sneaking around preparing for that morning. I quickly asked Sarah, "Did you know about this?"
Yeah, I got a call earlier. He said, "You're not even my real daughter."
Did he really say that to you?
Yeah, that's why I thought you were lying to me too, Mom.
I was furious that Mike would go so far. You are my daughter. That's the truth.
Really?
Yes, it's true. You're the child I carried and gave birth to. Anger started boiling inside me. How could he do something like this? Are you sure that call was from Dad?
Yeah. He called out of nowhere and told me you've been lying to me. He said I'm not really his daughter, and that's why he can't love me.
How dare he say such a thing?
Then he told me to call you and ask you to check my backpack. What was in there?
Oh, well. I hesitated to explain. I was afraid that if I told her, she might turn away from me. Then Sarah gently reassured me.
Mom, I believe you.
Her words gave me the courage I needed. What was in the backpack were? I explained the contents of the bag to Sarah. She didn't say anything and listened to me in silence, which I appreciated. After I finished, she asked,
Can I ask you one thing?
"Of course."
Why would he do something like that?
It was a good question. I didn't understand why he would go this far either. "I'm sorry, sweetie. I need to make a call real quick."
Okay.
I immediately called my mother-in-law. "Hello. There's something I need to talk to you about."
Catherine, it's been a while. You sound upset. Is something wrong?
Actually, today, I carefully explained everything to her.
He did what? That idiot.
Her strong reaction startled me. But I still don't really understand why he would do something like this.
Well, oh,
It seemed like she realized something.
the other day, he mentioned something that caught my attention.
Something that caught your attention.
Yeah, he called me out of nowhere, saying you want to see your grandchild. I thought it was strange since Sarah was already here.
Maybe. Could you let me know if you hear anything else from him?
Of course.
Thank you. I remembered a conversation I had with Mike. He had mentioned something about having his own child one day. I waited for Mike to come home.
I'm home.
"I need to talk to you.
What is it?
It's important." Mike seemed to pick up on it, and a smirk appeared on his face.
Did you happen to check the backpack?
"Yes. What a terrible thing you've done."
You've hit your limit, right? I want to reel my own child.
"So you dragged our daughter into this because of that?"
Honestly, I never liked her. I couldn't stand the way she looked at me.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "And I've already spoken to your mom."
She's meddling as usual. But deep down, I know she wants to see my real child too.
Was he serious? I couldn't believe how pathetic he was. At that point, I decided not to say anything more. "So, does that mean there's someone else involved?"
Someone else? Oh, absolutely. There's no point hiding it now.
"So, it's an affair, right?
Call it whatever you want.
Does that mean you want a divorce?"
Yep, I'll even pay the alimony.
"You're going to regret this."
No, you will.
I fought to keep my anger in check and continued questioning him. "How did you get those photos?"
Oh, that. I had a friend help out. It wasn't easy.
"What?"
Turns out one of my buddies works at the same company as your ex-husband.
"And you went through all this just to hurt us?"
Hurt you? That was the whole point that made you and Sarah suffer.
"But we made a promise, didn't we? Not to say anything until Sarah became an adult."
Did we? I don't remember that. Anyway, I'm not coming back, so good luck.
He said that and immediately left again. Probably to meet his mistress. Mike might think he's satisfied now, but he's forgetting something important. We had put our prenuptial agreement in writing. Sarah came back from her school trip. Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm home.
She didn't look happy.
Where's Dad?
He left us.
What?
He wanted us to feel desperate, both about the phone call to Sarah and about the backpack.
What are you going to do, Mom?
I'm sorry, Sarah, but I've decided to get a divorce. Suddenly, Sarah's gloomy expression turned into a smile.
Really? That's great.
You're not against it?
Why would I be? He's not my dad.
A few days later, Mike sent the divorce papers. Without hesitation, I signed them. Along with the papers, I included one more document.
Hey, what's with that paper?
I got a call from Mike 2 nights later. I sent it because you seem to have forgotten.
I'm not agreeing to this.
I heard the sound of paper tearing over the phone.
There, I ripped it up. It's invalid now. Too bad, huh?
Are you serious? The one I sent you was a copy. Tearing it up won't make a difference.
What? You've got to be kidding me.
It's still legally binding, so good luck with that.
There's no way I can pay that.
Not my problem. In our prenuptial agreement, we had written that neither of us would discuss remarriage until Sarah became an adult. And in the last clause, it stated that whoever broke this promise would have to pay $50,000. Of course, both of our signatures were on the document. What a shame, huh? With the alimony for the affair, you might be looking at $100,000.
Are you seriously expecting me to pay all that?
Of course. It's your fault for forgetting, so deal with it.
Wait, we're not done talking.
I hung up immediately. After that, Mike kept calling, but I ignored every single one. The more I thought about what was coming his way, the more I couldn't stop laughing. Hearing that, Sarah came over.
Why are you laughing all of a sudden?
Sorry, did you hear that?
You seem really happy.
I was just talking with Mike and got a bit of revenge on him.
Is everything okay?
Of course. Things are going to get interesting now. Oh, I should call your Nana too. I called to update her. I just got off the phone with Mike. I reminded him about the contract we signed before getting married.
Oh, that. I bet Mike didn't even remember it.
Exactly. And it's for $50,000.
Well, I guess I'll be hearing from him soon then.
What will you do?
Oh, I have no intention of helping him at all.
How do you think it'll turn out?
Let's just watch and see.
As expected, he called her the next day, but my mother-in-law didn't entertain him at all. Mike had officially been cut off by his own mom. A little while later, I got a cheerful call from her.
Guess who just called me? Mike, asking for money, as if I'd ever lend him any.
I knew it. He's so predictable.
Don't worry, I think things will be peaceful from now on.
I can't thank you enough.
Don't mention it. Come visit whenever you like.
I will. I'll bring Sarah too. I figured Mike would struggle from now on. By this time, our divorce was finalized. On top of that, I filed for alimony, and the court ordered him to pay $20,000. Altogether, Mike was now in debt for $70,000. I had a feeling Mike would call soon. Any minute now.
Any minute?
Yeah, I think he's about to call.
I see.
As we sat and relaxed, my phone rang. Sure enough, it was Mike. Hello.
You told my mom everything, didn't you?
Can you stop making baseless assumptions? You never had my trust to begin with.
Don't mess with me.
I've been in contact with your mom this whole time, and she never had anything good to say about you.
Damn it.
So, just give up. Good luck. Everything you're going through is your own fault. I could tell, even over the phone, how frustrated he was. If he regretted it this much, he shouldn't have done it in the first place. From what I heard later, Mike got dumped by his mistress because of his debt. Now he was truly all alone. Serves you right. After that, Sarah and I moved to a new place. It amazed me how much brighter the house felt without Mike. The two of us would live a happy life together,